You ever have one of those weeks where you work as long and as hard as you possibly can, and when it's over, the only thing of consequence that actually happened is the Earth rotated 7 times. Allegedly. I had a week like that when we tried to fix my dad's Bobcat. Then I had another week like that when I tried to edit that into a remotely watchable video. I got like 4 hours of footage, and there's maybe 8 minutes that I can actually use. So there's probably a video in there somewhere, but at this point, I cannot find it. So I'm going to fall back into my comfort zone, and we're going to work on a crusty old plow truck. There we go. 96 Chevy K3500. And plot twist, it's not crusty, and even though it's 4-wheel drive, I don't think it ever had a plow on it. Thing's actually pretty nice. Now, it has been sitting in a barn for 5 years, so there's been a few rodents here and there, but it's got it pretty well cleaned up. Let's see if it'll run long enough to get in the shop. So far, so good. Oh man, it takes an acre to turn this thing around. Yeah, that's kind of what it does. I don't know if the idle air control is bad or what the deal is. Once you get it going, it's okay. I don't know if it'll fit between the posts or not. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. Supposedly the bare cabin chassis weighs like 5,500, maybe 6,000 pounds. And the box and hoist, that's got to be at least another 3,000 pounds. The lift is good for 10,000. I bet it would lift it. Maybe don't get underneath of it. Anyway, this is a pretty nice truck. I mean, almost completely rust-free by our standards. It's got this cool box where the sides fold down. There's a little bit of an issue with the tailgate. So I guess they had a trailer hooked up or something, and they lifted the box and it pushed the tailgate into the tongue or something and really just tacoed it. So we got to try and fix that, at least get it good enough to where you can shut the gate. There's a whole list here, mostly in the front end. So the outer tie rod ends are bad. The pitman arm and the idler arm they're not great. And then it needs a brake job. It just kind of pulses pretty bad when you push the pedal. And I'm pretty sure these have inboard rotors, so that's going to be kind of fun. Let's see, the blower motor sounds awful. I think the mice got to that. The fuel gauge doesn't work. The radio doesn't save the stations for some reason. I don't know if there's like a battery that's bad or something. The wiring's goofed up there. Oh, the dome light, the hood release is broken, and then it just needs a service. So this is a 350 fuel injected, and it's got to be huffing and puffing pushing this big truck around. But it runs good. I thought it was going to be that easy. Come on, Wes. Watch this guy. It's a little sloppy. The other side's even worse. If you look at the rotor, see this flange here? That's actually the hub. So the studs go through the rotor, through the hub, and then into this extension. The rotor's inside the hub. The only way to get the rotor off is to take the whole wheel bearing assembly out and unbolt it from the back side. It's not that big of a deal in this truck because it's not that rusty, but when you got a real rust bucket, that can turn into quite a project. The other kind of weird thing, there is no separate brake caliper bracket. It's actually made right into the hub. Boy, they put plenty of threads on those. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say they got the good out of that one. Oh, probably time. Good God. Okay. Let's see. Oh, man. Okay, that's loose, so. Nothing to it. Oh. If we were going to replace the rotor, we'd take the nuts off the adapter and then drive out the studs. But instead, we're just going to tuck this wheel speed sensor cable up inside. Maybe like so. And we're going to stick this whole kit and caboodle into the brake lathe. Well, that's not right. What the hell's going on here? It's like it's not seated all the way. We better take that apart and see. Something going on. There's a gap. I can see it. I think we found the pulsing. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh. Look at me. There we go. Okay. You can stick that in the lathe maybe and clean it up. This is a little dodgy, so I can't get past the ears. The only way I can reach that shoulder is if I let the bearing basically bump up against the arm here, and I can't cut both sides. So we're just gonna see what happens. I don't want to take any more. That was already about 10 thousandths, 0.25 millimeters. So I don't know what happened, if it just got rust built up in there and or somebody replaced the rotor, didn't get it put on correctly. That's probably more likely. All right. That looks a whole lot better. There it goes. Yeah. Got a feeling this might require some heat. The problem is they left it with the cut towards the top, which means this whole thing's just been filled up with crap over however many years. Let's see. Might be helpful if I go the right way. Come on, stay up there. Oh yeah, coming right off. Bunch of belly aching for no reason. Yeah, but now the fucking ABS cable's on the wrong side. Finally. One step forward, two steps back. I managed to drop the driver's side hub rotor assembly when I was putting it together. Luckily, it was slowed by the wheel speed sensor harness as it was ripping the connector off. And then my knee kind of cushioned the blow, but it still managed to knock two studs out. So I think I kind of can hack this connector back together. I don't have another one that's quite the same, so I did have to solder that one back together, so. Okay. It's not the prettiest repair, but it'll get the job done. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? We probably ought to fix that. Check out this cup holder. Is that cool or what? Alright, time for a blower motor. I think it's gonna be somewhere behind here. Oh, yeah. This thing's just turning into dust on me. I tried to save it, but between me and the rodents, it's not looking too good. Those are 7mm, maybe? Oh my God. There. Looks like the ticket. Certainly sounds better. I think we gotta pull this plug out and reinstall this vent tube. Here we go. Sounds better? That'll work. And the resistor's even good. On to the next task. Not quite sure what to do with this tailgate. We could put it in the press and try to squeeze it, but I think that's going to make things worse because the way that it's pushed in, it's just going to want to roll over on itself. The best thing to do would be to pull this out, but this is not a good way to do that. It's kind of banana shaped at the moment. What I'm thinking is I'm going to try to straighten it just enough to where we can put it back in the box. Then it's kind of captured, and we might be able to rig up something to pull that out. So let me see if we can make that happen. I have a puller, and it's pretty handy. if it's getting any better. Doesn't seem like it. I was waiting for that. Might be time for a break. Alright, I think we're wasting our time. We might as well just cut it out of there, get it over with. We can't save it. Okay, well, fuck me. You know, he took this to a welding shop, and they didn't want to do it. They said it was too much. Starting to think they were right. You know, it's been dead calm for 2 weeks. The minute I want to weld something outside, wind. It never fails. I did the best I could to straighten those parts, and that was a mistake. It still looks like crap. I mean, it's just, yeah, I tried. I gotta stop for the day. I'm completely wiped out. I spent about 7 hours working on this. I started about 11 and it's just about 6 p.m. So I'll finish it up in the morning. I've gone as far as I can afford to go. It is better than it was, but that's not saying much. It really didn't come out very good. I don't know what happened. I had these bends perfectly straight, and as soon as I started welding and they got the tiniest bit of heat, they just curled up like taco shells. And now there's nothing I can do about it. I wish I had the time and or the equipment to really fix this right. So what needs to be done is cut out these vertical braces, just cut through the welds. They're fine, but then once they're off, chop out this whole section, every bit of metal that was bent or buckled, and just toss it. And then do the best to straighten up that bottom beam, to take out the belly, and then bend up some new pieces and weld in, brand new steel. And if I had the time, I could have made templates and had a shop with a press brake bend that stuff. Once it was welded in, you might not have ever known that there was a problem. Unfortunately, this guy is limited on time and money, so I did the best I could. Fun fact, I actually have a press brake, but the only die I have is for 16 gauge, which is less than half the thickness of the tailgate, so that's not very handy. And I bought some more tooling for it, 2 punches and a pretty nice 4-way bottom die, but I can't use it because the bed is so narrow. So I need like a wide adapter plate for that die to sit on. I don't know if I got to make that or find somebody to make it for me. I don't know, it's an old mechanical press, and I've been accumulating parts to convert it to hydraulic. But the more I think about it, the more I think that that really doesn't make any sense. I should just sell all of this stuff and buy a press that's already hydraulic. We're done. Well, the truck's not done, but I'm out of time for this video. I gotta fix the fuel gauge. I ordered a sending unit, but it never showed up. This truck has kind of a crazy setup. I believe there's 3 fuel pumps and 2 fuel tanks, and it pumps from one tank to the other. Didn't work even when they were new, so hard telling what we're gonna find. He's pretty hot for this truck, so it may not get fixed anyway. You remember like 2 years ago when I said no more crusty plow trucks? This is not technically a crusty plow truck, but it's crusty plow truck adjacent. And it serves as a good reminder of why I made that commitment. I have a soft spot for these vehicles, especially trucks from the 90s. But in terms of, it's a tough sell from an economic standpoint. It's very difficult to make money working on these things. Speaking of which, I don't know what happened, but it's like 8 weeks ago, everybody just lost their minds. And I'm used to farmers being pretty anxious this time of year. They want to get the crops picked, but it's everybody. And I've never been busier in my entire life than I have been in the last 2 months. And I've taken extraordinary measures to try and slow things down. I raised my shop rates 30%. I disconnected my phone. I figured the people that want to find me, they know how to find me. That didn't work at all. Now people just show up and demand that I work on their stuff. So I don't know what to do. Yeah, they're in an absolute frenzy. I've never seen anything like it. So hopefully that calms down and we can kind of get back to normal, because I can't take it much longer. Anyway, that's enough bellyaching. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I can scrape this together into a decent video, and I'll try to salvage what I did with the Bobcat. No promises. My wife's teaching her kids about cross sections, and I guess they weren't quite getting it. So she wanted what she calls manipulatives, and I got manipulatived into making them. Pretty good job for a 3D printer, but she wanted them big so the kids can see them, and it wiped out an entire spool of filament and took about 50 hours to print. I wanted them to key together, and somehow out of 20 parts, I managed to screw up 7. So this one here, I made it an innie, and it should have been an outie. There wasn't enough thickness there, so she came apart. Oh well. It's a public school. They're used to making do.